The 8th episode of Landman, Season 2 feels like a major turning point for Tommy's faith, and it's something that really needs to be discussed, especially after the frustration left by the previous episode and the way the show continues to handle TL and Sam Elliott's character overall. Episode 7 spends a long stretch with Tommy driving around with his father, and the contrast between them couldn't be clearer, with Tommy constantly tense, rushed, and irritated while TL moves through life at his own slow, unbothered pace, taking his time with everything. At times, they barely feel like father and son because of how different they are, which makes the moment when Tommy pulls into the driveway and sees TL asleep in the passenger seat hit even harder, because for a split second, Tommy genuinely thinks his father is dead. That flash of fear is immediate and real, a sharp mix of panic and love that lands straight in the chest. And even though TL wakes up and the moment turns into a joke, that initial fear doesn't disappear. By now, it's painfully obvious that Tommy loves his father deeply, and that's exactly where the frustration sets in. Because when you bring someone like Sam Elliott into a show, you expect more than a quiet presence, whose main purpose seems to be emotionally preparing the audience for his eventual death. TL doesn't get a real storyline of his own or any control over the plot. He exists to slow Tommy down, offer occasional wisdom, and eventually be taken away so Tommy can grow, which feels like a waste of such a legendary presence, especially knowing he barely appears in episode 8. The episode then shifts into a completely different emotional space with Rebecca and Charlie, a couple defined by sharp edges and a total lack of softness, where from the moment they wake up, everything is about business. Charlie lays out the oil rig situation, and the numbers are brutal. Hundreds of millions of dollars spent on a drilling platform with only a small chance of success. And while Charlie finds something almost poetic in that kind of risk and the thrill of going all in, Rebecca sees nothing romantic about it at all. For her, the risk isn't exciting. It's terrifying because this isn't a game. It's her career, her reputation, and her future hanging by a thread, which pushes her to take the issue straight to Nate. As they talk, it becomes clear that the hurricane may not have caused the blowout at all and that it could have been a coincidence, making further drilling feel pointless. While dragging things out through insurance litigation and buying time seems like the least destructive option. Nate agrees, but even then nothing feels secure. Because Charlie has to convince Tommy, Tommy has to convince Cammy, and everyone knows how easily that chain can break. Things turn ugly when Nate notices a small but revealing detail. Rebecca referring to the geologist by his first name, which is enough for him to act, once again proving how observant he really is. Without warning, he prints a conflict of interest form and forces Rebecca to sign it, fully aware of what it could do to her professional record. And the moment is brutal, leaving her completely blindsided and panicked. Later, when she finally goes to Tommy, she doesn't try to hide her fear anymore and admits she's terrified. She's about to lose everything. But Tommy surprises her by laughing off the idea of firing her and making it clear the company needs her, even though he's clearly furious about how Nate handled the situation. Still, the resolution feels too neat, with so much tension built around Rebecca only for it to dissolve almost immediately, leaving the moment feeling strangely hollow in a story where the stakes are supposed to be this high. What's coming next makes it clear that Rebecca's fear was justified, because the danger hasn't disappeared, it's only shifted, and the pressure is about to fall squarely on Tommy's shoulders. Nate will lay out the consequences, and no matter what choice is made, the outcome feels unavoidable. With Tommy unable to find the courage to tell Cammy how bad things really are, turning that silence into his biggest mistake. Cammy will continue to trust him, believing he can save the company and turn it into something meaningful, until Tommy runs out of options, and ends up back in Galliano's office, searching for answers, only to hear the truth he's been avoiding all along, that the company died the day Cammy's husband died, and no amount of money, effort, or loyalty can bring it back, forcing Tommy to finally face what he's been refusing to accept, that it's already too late.